I'm Tyler and I'm 35. I've been married for 5 years. I met my wife Adele when I was a student at Greenville Technical College. We were in neighboring classes. Although she and I were young and inexperienced at the time, we immediately realized that we were perfect for each other. I was the life of the party and I loved pranks. And she was very smart and sensible. Our acquaintance was banal to the point of impossibility, and similar to the plot of most movies. I was walking from college to the library, and she was late for a lecture. As soon as I opened the front door of the classroom building, Adele slammed into me with all her might. Our notes were scattered and jumbled. We had to exchange phone numbers, and later we met at the student caf GC to sort out our notes and put them in order. Our first meeting began with a cup of coffee and unobtrusive conversations about studying, and when it turned out that I had not taken some of her notes with me, I had to go to the dormitory where I lived. As we pored over notes and chatted, it turned out that we had a lot in common. I fell in love with my future wife at first sight, and I didn't even notice my palm on hers. Adele looked up and looked at me questioningly, surprised. "I really like you, even if it sounds silly since we've only known each other for an hour," said I, very worried. "I like you too," Adele replied and shyly took her hand away. "Can I kiss you?" I asked hesitantly. "Only if you don't think I'm too frivolous a girl," Adele said and moved a little closer to me. Our lips incongruously melded in a first kiss for both of us. My hand stroked her luxurious hair, caressed her neck. I laid Adele on the bed, took off her dress, hanging it neatly on the back of a chair, and took off my shirt and pants, hanging them neatly nearby. We felt rather awkward being in front of each other in our mother's clothes, as this was the first sexual experience for both her and me. Ah, how gorgeous her body was, small breasts with pronounced areolae and protruding nipples, narrow waist and slender legs, between which you could see that cherished place. I was at the peak of nervous and physical excitement. I was ready to pounce on her to give her maximum pleasure. But because of my total lack of experience, I just stood there confused looking at her young and sexy body. "I'm cold," said Adele, shivering, and I overcame my fear and lay down on the bed next to her. It was unforgettable. We both enjoyed each other's company, kissing each other passionately. That's how we started dating, and a year later we got married. Our acquaintances were even a little jealous. Not a single quarrel for all the time since the moment of acquaintance. A lot of common topics for conversation, similar tastes in music and pastime. All in all, we both looked in the same direction. Our intimate lives may not have been as vibrant and varied as most of our friends, but we were one in spirit, and that was the most important thing. 5 years passed, and I began to notice that my wife cooled down a bit towards me. Most likely it was the monotony of everyday life. Once in a while I had a silly thought that maybe Adele was cheating on me, but I wasn't sure and had no way to check it. On the eve of her birthday, I asked her how she would like to spend the upcoming holiday, to which my wife replied that she was not going to celebrate, but would rather prepare a presentation for an upcoming meeting at work. "And in fact," she said, "why don't you go to the lake with your friends for a couple of days and have a good rest?" At that moment, I had no more doubts. "Okay, I'll go, but don't work too hard and go shopping. I'll leave you my credit card. Let it be my gift to you," I said. But at this point, I had a plan brewing in my head. Since once in college I was a funny joker and divorcee, I decided to perform my most dodgy in life prank. I invited all her acquaintances, friends, colleagues, and even parents under the pretext that I want to arrange a surprise for my beloved wife and throw a real holiday party. Her mother baked her delicious specialty cake, friends ordered balloons and clappers, and colleagues engaged in the delivery of festive dishes. On X Day, after gathering everyone at the front door of the house, I quietly opened the door with my key and quietly led the entire group upstairs. When the door of the room suddenly opened and everyone rushed in with balloons and loud cries of "Happy birthday, sunshine!" Then, before the eyes of those present, there was a picture of our beloved Adele, standing on the matrimonial bed, being satisfied by some guy about 8 years younger than her. Words cannot describe what I experienced when I realized that my suspicions were true. I even thought for a moment that maybe I should not have done it, and it would be better to remain in ignorance than to learn about the infidelity of the woman I love. But the worst of it was for her at that moment, when I, her mother and father, and all our mutual acquaintances saw directly what dirty deeds she was doing in secret from everyone.